Like the Ferris wheel, like at Asia Tech, like the big wheel at Asia Tech, the big Ferris wheel.
Take people around.
Yeah,
Take people around and around.
Yeah. Okay. So, but Salim wants to have his fortune told, and he does. He does. So it said, let's see, we start where it says Salim paid his money and put out his hand. Okay, your turn.
Mr. Shati closed his eyes for 10 seconds. When you said, Salim, please, what will I be? Mr. Shati closed his eyes for 10 seconds. Then opened them. You have a beautiful face, he said. You will be very famous actor. Like Ahmad Ali, asked Salim, excited. Even more famous than Ahmad Ali, replied. The fortune teller, he turned to me. Do you want to show me your hand? No, thank you, I said, and I began to move away. Salim stopped me. Mohammed, do you have to show him your hand? He said, do it for me, please. So I gave the old man 10 rupees and held out my right hand. He looked at the for more than 5 minutes. Then he made some note. What's wrong? asked Salim. The fortune teller shook his head. He did not look happy. You will have many problems. He said, I can help you, but it will cost money.
Okay, let's stop right there. So Ram Muhammad Thomas, he goes ahead and has his fortune told. And the fortune teller has some bad news for him. So at this point in the story, we have our interest now is what's going to happen to Ram that will be such bad news. When we read a story, this is called foreshadowing. It's where the author of the story tells us just enough in the story to get our interest, so that we continue to read. And so we know that something bad is going to happen to Ram Muhammad Thomas. You'll have many problems. I can help you, but it will cost money. Now, let me read the next couple of lines. How much, I asked. 200 rupees, he said. You could ask your father for the money. Is that his big bus? I laughed. We're not rich children, I said. We're orphans from the Delhi Home for Boys. That bus doesn't belong to our father. You should have checked before telling us the stories. Salim and I were walking away when the fortune teller called to me. Listen, he shouted, I want to give you something. I walked back and he gave me 1 old rupee coin. Now, what's happening here? The fortune teller looks at Ram Muhammad's hand and he says, oh, this is bad news. Something really bad is going to happen to you. And Muhammad says, well, what? And the fortune teller says, well, it's going to cost you 200 more rupees. What do you think about this fortune teller? What does this say to her? Infer the meaning. The fortune teller takes his 10 rupees, tells him something bad is going to happen to him, and then the fortune teller says, now, something bad is going to happen to you, but if you pay me 200 more rupees, I can make sure that it doesn't happen. What's going on here? He's what? Mm-hmm.
He can be the big bus.
He's a crooked man. You know what I mean by a crooked man? He's trying to cheat. He's trying to take advantage of this little boy who is I mean, he's young, he's inexperienced. He's only, what, 8 years old? You know, so the fortune teller is trying to take advantage of him. And he assumes because he came in a big bus that he's a rich boy, and so he's just going to try to, you know, take some more money. So you should have checked before telling us stories. So then, Pip, you start with Salim and I.
Salim and I were walking away when the fortune teller called to me. Listen, he chose, I want to give you something. I walked back and he gave me an old rupee coin. It's lucky coin, he says. Keep it, you will need it. Salim wanted an ice cream, but we had only 1 rupee, and that would not buy us anything. Suddenly, I dropped the coin. When I bent down to pick it up, I saw that it was lying next to a 10 rupee note. This someone had dropped it. So Salim and I bought ice cream and I put the coin carefully into my pocket. It was a lucky coin.
Yeah, it was. It was a lucky coin. One word, and this is a hard word to pronounce for non-English speakers. Let me find it again here. Shout. Oh yeah. Listen, he shouted. I want to give you something. S-H-O-U-T-E-D. When you see the letters O-U together, that's pronounced owl. Owl. So we say shout. Shout. Now, if there had been no U there, if it had just been S-H-O-T, that would be shot. But with the U, that's an owl sound. Shout. Hour. Anytime you see OU, it's owl. Owl. So, lucky coin. Pew, you can start now. Oh, yeah.
Why use Salim and I, not Salim and me, like in the exercise? Salim and I. Why don't use Salim and me? In the exercise, the answer is Salim and.
Where are we here? Oh.
Salim and I. Why don't you Salim and me?
Well, because when we say Salim and I were walking, Salim and I are the subjects of the sentence. They're the Salim and I are who's doing the action. So Salim and I are walking. So since they're the ones doing the action, they're the subjects. So we want to use a nominative pronoun, I. So that would be correct. Salim and I were walking. See, Salim and I are the subjects of the sentence.
Salim is the subject and I the nominative.
Well, so it's what we call a. You can have more than one subject in a sentence. You can. Salim and I were walking. Both of them were the subjects of the sentence. Salim and I were walking away when the fortune teller called to me. Now the fortune teller called. So the fortune teller called as a subject to me. So we use me because me is an object. Yeah, but Salim and I, it's what we call, Nat, we call this a compound subject. Compound subject. A compound subject is when we have two nouns become the subject together. For example, you and I are talking. You and I are the subjects. Talking is what we're doing. You and I are talking to them. Them would be the object. But you and I, we got two nouns. We're both subjects because we're both doing the action. We call it a compound subject. So I is the correct pronoun in that case. Yeah. So we left off from time to time, correct? And whose turn is it now? Is it my turn? Oh, your turn. Okay, Pew.
From time to time, a big man came to the home. His name was
Seth G.
Seti. Some boys said that he was a very rich businessman with no children of his own. They said that he owned a school in Mumbai and took the cleverest boy from our home to teach. We all hope that Seti would take us to his school. Mumbai is the center of the film business, so Salim hoped that Seti would take him and make him a film star. He was sure that the fortune teller were going to come true. Seti arrived with two other men. He did not look like a businessman. He looked like a gangster. The two men with him looked like gangsters too. I learned later that their names were Mustafa